All right, what's going on, y'all? So, talking about identification with Christ, felt like this needed a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more depth. Just kind of press into it a little bit more to make sure that people understand, because it's probably the most important topic that you can talk about, because this is what the gospel is. Okay, if you don't identify yourself in Christ, you are going to struggle to see yourself as God sees you. All right. This is what we call the knowledge of God. All right. This is the way that God sees you in Christ. Therefore, it is true. All right. Let God be true and every man be a liar. So, what God says is true, regardless of how you feel. Now you have to renew your mind to what has happened to you in Christ Jesus. Okay. Now that you are a believer, this is what you believe. So we're going to hop right into the scriptures to make sure we understand what identity is. All right. Identity is who you believe yourself to be. All right. Your image and your likeness. That's what is on your identification. But this is what we were created in. We were created in the image and likeness of God. Okay. Romans 8 says that we were predestined to be conformed to the image of his son. So now that we are in his son, we have to get our identity from this place, not from the old man or the man we used to be or the person we grew up as or how you view yourself through the life that you've had. You cannot view yourself through the life that you had. You have to view yourself to what Christ has done and who Christ has made you. So Galatians 2:20, very popular verse. So let's hop into it. I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. In the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. All right. So now it is no longer I who live, but Christ, he lives in me. In the life that I now live, I live through faith in him, that what he has done has accomplished exactly what he says that it accomplished. Okay. So now I have to live my entire life through this perspective. That's what a single eye is in Matthew 5:6. All right. So now you have to make sure your eye is single, not evil. Evil is the opposite of single, according to that verse. Okay. So you can't have a split view of yourself. You can't see yourself apart from this. You have to see yourself in this. I'm going to go straight to the next verse and then we'll just go ahead and tie it together. Colossians 3, verse 1. If then, which means since, this is not an if statement. It's not for you to judge. It's a true statement because you are in Christ if you believe. Okay? If then you were raised with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ is, sitting at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above, not on things of the earth, for you died and your life is hidden with Christ in God. So much so that verse 4 says, when Christ, who is our life, appears, then you will appear with him in glory. You will also appear with him in glory. So your life is so hidden with Christ in God that when Christ appears in glory, you are going to appear with him. So right now you are already in your eternal resting place. Okay, this is where you are. This is where you're always going to be. Okay, so it's not about heaven. It's about where we are now. That's why we reach heaven, or which is ultimately going to be the new earth. Okay, so you have to understand that since you were raised with Christ, you have to seek things that are above where Christ is, because now he is your life. Your life is hidden in him. Okay, it is no longer I who live, but now Christ lives in me. So he is in me, I am in him. Remember in John 14, he says, in that day you will know that I am in my Father, and that you are in me, and that I am in you. All right. So he and I are like this. And then now we are in the Father. So now, because he has joined himself to us, we get to enjoy the same relationship that he has had with his Father since before the world began. John 17. All right. And not just the same relationship, but even more importantly, the same love. All right. Excuse me. So you have to see that your life is hidden with Christ in God. It is no longer you who live, but Christ lives in you. You have to identify yourself in this place. Even when it goes on in verse 5 of Colossians, it says, therefore, put to death your members which are on the earth. And it starts listing what we call sins. Understand that sins are the actions that you take outside of this image that you are made in, created in. So you focus on who you are in this image, in this person of Christ, who you are here, and then therefore you don't act contrary. Most people think that they are this person out here and that they are trying to pretend to be like Jesus. They feel like it's a struggle. But the thing is that you are in Christ. It is no longer you who live. You died to sin, Romans 6. Okay, so if you died to sin, how can you live any longer in it? It doesn't make any sense. But this is the gospel. And unfortunately, this is not usually preached. We try to focus on our actions instead of focusing on our identity. Let me put my hand down. So identify yourself in Christ Jesus. This is the knowledge of God. This is what we call spiritual understanding and wisdom. This is what we have to learn because this is what sets us free. Your faith is in the Son of God. All right. Remember, whom the Son sets free is free indeed. So if you are not free, it's not because he didn't set you free. It's because you're not understanding your freedom. All right. I love y'all. Hopefully this helped. Comment below if this made sense to you, or if you need some understanding. Like the video if you do like it, and then I'll talk to you in the next one.